Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Matt Forts here with Keller Williams Realty here. And hey, happy July. We got a new month, new quarter, and all kinds of new stats. And really, it's all about looking at the market, how it's changing, and let's put some context into it because as you can see here, it's more like normalizing. Now, it may not feel like that because, heck, 5 and something% interest is a lot more painful to look at than 2.5. I get it. But let's put some context around maybe some of the stories you've been hearing or some of the stories you've been reading or, whatever it might be. Because if you take some of the things that are happening in a vacuum, you might be thinking that, all things are going to pot. So let's take a look at it. So, first of all, again, wrapping context around this, why are we here? This is kind of like a broken record here, but we've got a couple factors really driving things. I'll give it three. First and foremost, we've been running at 100 miles an hour red-lined engine for the last 2 years. We had to take the foot off the gas pedal at some point, otherwise the engine would just blow up. And so what we've seen, some of the catalysts, some of the actual catalysts to make that happen was, as you can see here, interest rates. We were in the sub threes and close to twos there for quite a while in the last couple of years, and then it shot up. It shot up a lot faster than most of us really wanted to, but that's where we're at. But still, we're at about 5%, which again, if we looked at the the past 40 years, 5% is a good number. So anyways, then the other one is it's prices. If we look at the median price, 2022 is substantially higher in the Sacramento region than it has been. And so price plus the cost of money means that some people get priced out, or it makes it changes your purchasing power. So I get it, and that's why we're seeing some of the things we're seeing, and I'll get back to this in a little bit. But one of the things you're going to notice is we do have some price correction or some easing of those numbers because of, hey, you know what? Some people still have to sell. Some people have to move. And you know what? We're going to see pricing start to level off. And I don't think we're not going to see precipitous price drops. I don't think. But we're definitely not going to see 20% year over year growth, because that's insane. A more normal number is 1 to 3%. And if you have 5%, that's a pretty good year. So again, let's continue with the context. And one of the other things that if you look at the absolute number in my friend Ryan Lundquist, whose blog post I pulled these graphs from, even he does a good job of telling it how it is. However, again, I want to put some more context in it, because if you look at just the raw number, this is pending contracts. And if you look at the black line here, that's 2022. It's like, oh my gosh, we're selling a lot less homes than we have in the past, 6-7 years combined. Yeah. On a very relative or on a very absolute sense, yeah, that's an accurate statement. So one of the things we want to look at is so what I mean by wrapping context is let's look at it compared to the number of homes for sale. Now, this top one, these bars here, these are the active homes in the Sacramento region, beginning basically the July 1 snapshot. And as you see, we have a sharp uptick from 2021. Again, 2020 and 2021, bananas type of market, crazy years. We all know that. What I want to look at is 17, 18, and 19. Because those are all, very strong sellers market, very robust real estate market, but not crazy. And if you look at that, all of those are over 4,000 active listings July 1 for those 3 years. So what I did is I want to put some context around this. So Now, forgive me, the numbers I have here, pulling off of my trend system, I'm looking at June versus July, slight difference. And what I'm looking at is Sac, Placer, and El Dorado, not including yellow. Sorry, guys. I don't hate yellow. It was an oversight. But nonetheless, it's still a good apples to apples. I would argue that you're not going to see a relative, anything significant, relatively speaking, without yellow in there. So anyways, I digress. So if we look at those 3 years, 17, 18, and 19, the month of June, we averaged 43 active listings. We averaged 2476 pending. Now, this is where I want to start to draw that relative, and let's take a look at how we are in a true apples to apples, because that pending is a function of how many houses are for sale. So we've had more houses for sale in those 3 years on average than we did than we did this year. So where do we compare? So let's look at 2022. Okay, so 2022, 3311 and 1851 respectively active to pending. Now, when you start looking at when you start looking at the ratios, that's a relative decrease of 2%. When you look at the ratio of pending to active comparatively between the two data sets, between now and the average of those 3 years. Yes, a decrease. So it's not like, hey, things are, there's no smoke and mirrors here. Though it is context in that, if I just look at this number, this line on its own and say, oh my gosh, we only have this many pending homes, what's happening? Or if I look at this one and say, oh my gosh, inventory shot up big time. And even if you look over the month over month of 2022, it tells a similar story. So it's not necessarily a dire situation. Everybody's situation is different. We are in uncertain times, and keeping politics and geopolitics out of this, we know we've got some really crazy times here. We've got inflation. We've got political turmoil. We've got a lot of things going on. I get it. And what I want to put on the table, and I've said this several times, and I'll say it over and over again, is if you're in the position where you have the finances and the numbers work out, and you have the desire and need to make a move or to purchase, and you have you feel confident in your future, because it's not hey, our world is really our world, and economic uncertainty is really only what is relative to your life. We can't necessarily look at what's happening across the world, across 7-8 billion people, and draw that to mean that that's what's going to happen in my life. So it's whatever's happening in your life. And if those situations are together where you have a good confidence in where your future is, you have the numbers and the financial foundation to make this happen, you've really got to start to consider to make it happen. Because as I shared in my previous email with the Dave Ramsey video, waiting may not be a good strategy. And so let's get back to today, not so much in the future. Today, if we start looking at it, so as a buyer's perspective, it's still a great seller's perspective. I mean, look at the prices are still substantially higher than probably when you bought your home, if you bought it anytime in the last 10 years. And now from the buyer's perspective, as I showed you, we did have some changing or some slight downtick on the median home price. But one of the things we can look at here is the sale price to list price ratios and hard numbers. So we're below on average, we're below the 100%, mark. And you can see the last few years, we've had lots of stuff in that 100+%. So we, at the end of last month is 98.9%. So under ask on average. And if we look at it in a hard dollar amount, it's $7,200 under the original asking price is where homes are closing at. So you as a buyer, if you again, if you've got all of your stuff together, you're confident about your future, and you have the need and desire to buy a home, you really got to start taking a look today. Because again, the more you wait, the more expensive it gets. Because I don't know where interest rates are going to go, and I don't think home prices are gonna get any lower. I mean, again, substantially lower to where it makes sense. 5 years from now, who knows? And do you really want to wait 5 years? So really take that time to look deep. And I know it's uncertain times. You may have a lot of concern about taking such a big step, whether you own a home currently or you don't. I understand. So when you're ready to put a plan together, give me a call. All my information is down below. Be more than happy to sit down with you and help put a plan together. No obligations. I'm here to educate, help you, and if it's a good fit, you want to work with me, I accept the honor. But really, it's all about just giving you the tools, the information, the knowledge to empower you to make that decision. I really do appreciate your time. Hope you're having a fantastic summertime. Look forward to seeing you again. And if you have any questions, you need any help, call me anytime. Take care.